Hello beautiful people, welcome back again to another amazing tutorial where I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful short top that can be worn both ways. So if you're ready, let's get started. I've just folded my fabric using my bust measurement plus 4 divided by 4. So my bust is 36, so I added 4" for ease allowance. Okay, so now I'm marking my shoulder width of 15 divided by 2, that's 7.5, and I'm marking my neck width of 3 inches. I'm going to mark my shoulder slant of 1.5. Then I'll mark my chest length of 8.5. Then I forgot to mark my across front length of 4.5. So I'm marking that from my shoulder slant. And then I'll go back and mark my bust length of 10 inches and my under bust of 13.5. So after marking this, I'm just going to use my ruler to rule the lines. I'm going to rule my under bust line. Then on my chest line, I'm going to be marking my bust measurement divided by 4. So 40 divided by 4 is 10 inches. And I'm going to mark that same 10 inches on my under bust line. So I'm just going to connect both lines because this top part won't be having any fitting. Remember that it needs to be loose because of the shoring at the bottom part. So after that, I'm going to mark my across front width of 14 divided by 2, that's 7. So actually my across front width is 13, but I added 1" for allowance, okay? So that made it 14. So I'm going to mark that. And on my shoulder slant, I'll be marking my real shoulder measurement of 7.5. So sorry, at this point, my camera went off and I didn't realize until I was done cutting the front pattern. So as you can see, I just connected my neck width to my shoulder slants, and then I also created my armhole and I added ½ inch allowance all round. So now I'll be cutting the back part. And remember, the back part is going to be a wrap. So I'm just leaving 3 inches allowance at the center front part. This 3" allowance would be for the wrapping. Okay, so I'm just going to cut exactly the same thing for the back. So for the back neck, I'm just going to open up the folded part and I'm going to mark a V, as you can see. So I'll be cutting it out to create my wrap. So this is how it looks. So this is the back and this is the front. So to cut the bottom part, which will be the part we are going to show, I'm going to cut twice of my bust circumference. So the bust circumference is 40. So 40 times 2 will be 80 inches. So I'll be cutting the front using 80 divided by 2, that's 40. So I folded this using 20 inches. So I'm going to mark the length of the side to be 7 inches, and because I want the front part to have like a basque effect, I'm going to mark the middle part to be 12 inches. So I'm just going to connect that, roll it and cut it out. For the back side, I'm going to mark the length to be 7 inches and the width will be 20 as usual. So I'm also going to cut that out. And this is how the two pieces look. So sorry, at this point my camera went off again, so I couldn't show you how I hemmed the wrap part, okay? But I just folded it using ½ inch and I used my cover stitch machine to stitch that part, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to join the shoulders together. So as you can see, I joined it leaving ½ inch at the front side. Okay, so this ½ inch I left is going to be for our collar. Okay, so I'm just going to use my pin to hold the shoulders together, and I'll also be pinning the sides together. Next, I'm going to be hemming the bottom part of our shirring pieces, as you can see. So I'm going to hem both pieces, that's the front and the back, together. Then I'm going to stitch the shoulder parts. So I'm using my overlock machine to stitch this. So what this machine does is it weaves and stitches at the same time, okay? So I'm just going to join the shoulders and the sides together. So after doing this, I actually joined the sleeve, but I didn't show how to make the sleeve in this video because I didn't want this video to be very long. But I made a separate video on how to cut and sew a lantern sleeve. I'm going to add the link to the description box. Okay, so please do well to watch that. So next I'll be using this shorring thread, which is elastic thread, which I'm going to use my hands to reel it round the railer. Okay, it's best to use your hands to do this to give you a better outcome. So I'm just going to reel this, and this is going to be in the shuttle while your regular thread will be at the top part. So after doing that, I'm just going to start sewing this. I'm just going to start making straight stitches on the piece for the shirring. So I'm just going to keep sewing this, and I'm going to leave 1/4 inch spacing between each seam line. So the more stitches you make, the more the shirring or gathering effect shows. So I'm going to actually do this behind the camera. And for the final part, because I want the bottom to have some kind of ruffles, I'm going to leave 1 inch on each side. Okay, so my showing is going to stop 1 inch above the bottom. So I'm going to show and stop at 1 inch, and you can see the ruffles that it has given me. So this is how I actually want it to be. Okay, so for the back, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to show it, and I'm going to leave 1 inch below unshirred. So for the ruffles. So after that, I'm just going to join both pieces together, and then I'm going to join it to the main top. So I'm going to start by pinning the sides together because, as you can see, the shore part is smaller than the top bodies. So I'm going to pin the sides, and I'm going to stretch the shore part so that it will be equal to the top, and I'm just going to stitch it round. I'll be using the elastic thread in the shuttle part to join this, and so this is the final outcome. So next, I'm going to be putting the collar. So for the collar, I'm just going to measure the width of our neck, and measuring it, it gave me 9.5. So but my neck circumference is 17 inches. So it means that the front is 9.5, while the back will be 6.5. So now I'm just going to cut this strap. I'll be using this strap for the neck. So I've just folded this strap to 19 inches. I made it bigger than the neck length, and then I want the width to be 1 inch. So I added extra 1 inch, making it 2 inches. So I'm just going to cut it. So altogether I have 2 inches by 18 inches here. So next, I'm just going to fold 1/2 inch, and I'm going to iron that down. So after ironing down the 1/2 inch, I'm just going to place it front side facing front side, and I'm going to stitch 1/2 inch seam round the collar. Okay. So at the end of this, we are just going to be left with 1 inch. So I'm just going to fold this and also give it a good iron it. And and I just turned it to the right side. So now after ironing it, I'm just going to fix it. So first I'm going to mark the middle part of the collar and also the middle part of our neck. And so we are just going to slot it in like a sandwich. Now remember that 1/2 inch we left. Yes, this is where it's going to come in. That is the 1/2 inch we are going to be using to join the collar to the blouse. So now I'm just going to tuck the neck of the blouse in between the collars and I'm going to pin that. So after making sure the neck of the blouse is properly placed in the collar, I'm going to stitch it together. So I'm going to stitch on the tip of the collar. So make sure that you take your time while sewing this so that the neck doesn't come out, and also make sure that you're catching both tips of the collar. Okay. And I used a snap button to hold the collars together. That's all. So this is the final look. You can see this is me wearing it this way with the wrap at the back and the full bodies at the front. Don't forget to watch the video on how I made this beautiful sleeve, the skirt, and also the detachable bow tie. The link to the video will be in the description box. And now this is how it looks when I wear it the other way, guys. This top is the bomb. Like when I wore it out, it got heads turning. Like people asking me, where did you get it? Where did you get it? So please guys, let me know how you would rock this top if it were yours. And don't forget to subscribe, like, share, turn on your notification so you don't miss out on our next videos, and see you next time. Bye.